Sahana bhavatu, Sahanau bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Atha siddhanta sarvasvam,
Atha siddhanta sarvasvam,
Shrinu bhakti rasayanam,
Shrinu bhakti rasayanam,
Janma mrityu jara vyadhi bheshajam tadrasayanam,
Janma mrityu jara vyadhi veshajam tadrasayanam,
Dharmartha kama mokshanam,
Dharmartha kama mokshanam,
Jnana vairagya yorapi,
Jnana vairagyayorapi,
Antahkarana shuddhescha,
Antahkarana shuddhescha,
Bhaktif paramasadhanam,
Bhaktif paramasadhanam,
Yayatra raktya jivoyam,
Yayatra raktya jivoyam,
Dadhate brahmarupatam,
Dadhati brahmarupatam.
Dadhati and brahmarupa, there is a dvitvam because it's a short vowel followed by a conjunct consonant. Dadhate brahmarupatam,
Dadhati brahmarupatam.
Yeah, not rupatam, please recognize the long and the short, this is basic for Sanskrit. Yeah. Yayatra raktya jivoyam,
Yayatra raktya jivoyam,
something happened there. Yayatra raktya jivoyam,
Yayatra raktya jivoyam,
Dadhate brahmarupatam,
Dadhati brahmarupatam.
Sadhita sanakadyaihi,
Sadhita sanakadyaihi,
Sa bhaktirithyabhidhiyate.
Sa bhaktirithyabhidhiyate.
Yeah, very nice. So, we have seen the first two verses last time, talking about bhakti as the rasayana. Rasayana is that which brings one back to life. That is what it is. Simply put, that is the meaning of rasayana. It just brings one back to life. That means what was one before one came back to life? I didn't want to say that. That's why I made you say it. So, that the recognition will come. That what one is without bhakti. What is one without bhakti? Yes, Ram Nam Satya Hai. That's all it is, So bhakti is the elixir, not just of life. It is the elixir of life, no doubt, but it's the elixir of a struggling, sagging, waning, disappearing, fading, mumukshutvam. The desire to be free, the desire to know, etc., that is given a blood transfusion, and that is given a, what's its name, a kind of a push with the bhakti, Without the bhakti, see, if I, once in a while, in between all the desires that are going to not be fulfilled, let us be very clear about this. Yeah, in between all the desires and the disappointments which are not going to come forth, which are not going to be fulfilled, this is, written. And still that doesn't stop one from struggling, striving, and in between all that, when the struggle overcomes the the fact, when the struggle kind of temporarily subsides, and one is overcome by the fact, this is not really in my hands, is this? It isn't. A light bulb, flickers. I wouldn't say goes off. It doesn't. It just flickers, trying to, and one is almost enlightened to the fact of Ishvara is as everything, everywhere, at all times. And then that is the time, that, the bhakti has to be seized. Yeah. That is the thing, because it comes in between once in a while when nothing works. Then you say, okay, what is going on here? Maybe there is something other than me, ding ding, good morning, and wake up and smell the bhakti. This is what this is what has to happen. And then, at that same juncture, when nothing works and everything is a struggle and there's push and pull and all kinds of things are going on, the mumukshutvam and the bhakti are flickering together. Yeah. In the same bulb, which is this body. Yeah. That's why the head looks like the old bulb. Maybe we will evolve into the head because LED, who knows? But the old-fashioned bulb, mostly the switch is off, and that switch is bhakti. And then sometimes when the switch is on, flicker, 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 trying to come on, ek life chala gaya, one life gone, and then another time trying to come on, gone. Third life didn't even try, but the desire was there. And therefore fourth life, Bhagavan gave a respite and said, this time, since you want to come, you want to come to light, so to speak, so much, this life you will be a glowworm, blessed by yeah, may you know that you are self-effulgent, self-revealing, self-luminous. Yeah, and then they're also trying to come on, flicker, 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 shining in the summertime. This is what it is. And so then, along with the bhakti, the mumukshutvam, the desire to know, the desire for Brahman, which is really, in this particular section, revealed as the desire for oneself. That is what is lacking. That understanding is lacking, and that understanding flickers and wavers a lot. And then what happens? Oh, I don't have bhakti. I will not have jnanam. I don't know what to do. Hibernate, that's all, Yeah, what else to say? Then the helplessness, which is the very familiar, as familiar as the covers at night, that you pull over, the helplessness, it becomes the new comforter. Strangely enough, how can helplessness be the, hopelessness? How can hopelessness be the comforter? It is. Because in a strange way, it perpetuates itself and one feels, helpless, hopeless, I can't do anything. Why should I even try? It's okay, fine, no problem. Yeah, there is no problem because one is, when a teenager asked me, I want to be a star. But I'm not a star. Yeah. Was giving the parents heart attack because was literally trying to open a garage band in the parents' garage. And, waking up till 2 o'clock. And, of course, the parents were all red-eyed. I said, this is the meaning of the word red-eye, not the plane that you catch. Having a teenage son with his friends practice heavy metal in your garage. And the parents' prarabdha was such that the master bedroom was on top of the garage. He says, I want to be a star. I'm not becoming a star. Nobody is buying my CDs. I said, you have to star in your own life first. You have to start starring in your own life. You know how they have a movie credits in the beginning? They're, starring, right? So and so, so and so. So one has to star in one's own life. Then you can say, okay, I'm a star. That's one stops starring in the own life and becomes this jaded, faded jiva, because the unconscious takes over, and the bhakti is the tonic that brings one back to life. And here is where one has to do bhakti. This is what it is. It's all about doing. And doing means, and people here again, I'm not the temple going type. It's not a type. Yeah, what do you mean you're not the temple going type? If you're not the temple going type, you're the typo on life. Yeah, that's what it is. You yourself are a typo. You know the meaning of typo? Spelling mistake.
Mistaken understanding of how a word or something a form should be.
Right.
Or is.
And and the Vedas know this. Vedas know that most people are not the quote unquote temple going type. They are all not non-temple going typos. And so therefore the Veda in her magnanimity has said, never mind, sit at home and do dhyanam. Well, I'm not the meditating type. That's right, you're the meditating typo. Non-meditating typo. Theek hai, that is also not possible. This is all, an essence of the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. All right, you cannot do that. Doesn't matter, sit and do some bhajans. Sit at home and do some bhajans. Well, I'm not the singing type. All right, don't do anything, just do your own work. Whatever you have to do. Infuse that with bhakti. It's called karma yoga. Well, I'm not the karma yoga type. You can't say that. You can't say I'm not the karma type, because you are doing karma. And the person doing karma means action. No, I'm not doing any action. That is also an action. Yeah. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit. Bhagavan says in the 4th chapter, 3rd chapter, that you cannot sit quietly even for a second. One cannot sit without doing anything. And even if you say, yes, I can, that is also an action. Deciding to not do something is an action. It's an action of omission. If it's not an action of commission, and you are equally culpable for an action of omission, not just commission. You can't just get away saying, oh, I didn't do anything. That not doing anything is as good as doing things, because that's a decision. It may be a default decision, but it's a decision. So you can't avoid doing karma yoga by stopping doing karma. That is ridiculous. So karma yoga here means do whatever that you're doing, but the doing causes problems. I don't want problems. Exactly. Dedicate the doing to Bhagavan and receive the results of action that comes as prasada. The world is your temple, your actions are the archana, and the offering is what is, life is what you get back as a result of action, and learn to accept that, grow into graceful acceptance. No, I'm not that type. Yeah. Continue to live as a typo. Yes. That's all one can say. And here, that's why this section, it's a very, I have been reading through the whole section, and when I read it the first time, I thought that it is a very focused and almost a very strict section. There is a little bit of word play and all these things which are characteristics of Narahari's writing. But it is he doesn't want to spend a lot of time doing other things. He doesn't want you to get distracted, because who is it, addressing? It's addressing the distracted, jaded, faded jiva who is trying to jumpstart itself all the time. Sometimes the car stalls, right? And then you have to get that wire and do whatever it is. You have to jumpstart it. And once in a while that's okay. Everybody, no matter whether the person is a car or a bekar, that needs, bekar means useless, needs a little jump start in life, no problem. But imagine a car that needs to be jump started every day. What a car to have! Would you like to drive such a car? No. But if that is the condition of this jiva, then this is something is terribly wrong. Once in a while, okay, you need that, you need that wake-up call, you need that, something, it's okay. But if needing to be jump-started every day, every morning, and I read somewhere one celebrity, child of some celebrity, saying that the celebrity was talking proudly of her child which doesn't wake up in the morning without a reward. Of course, what excuses this is the child is 6 years old. That's okay, but even the 60-year-old person, if you are unable to start the day without a reward, that means there is something wrong. Yeah, 6-year-old, theek hai, no problem. It's a child. But this is what the life, one needs magic, one needs a reward, one needs something to look forward to. That means there is something terribly wrong in the way, in the makeup, in my mental makeup, in the way that I am leading the life. In other words, I am not leading the life, life is leading me. This is the problem. One becomes a passive Duryodhana, Kenapi devena hridi sthitena yatha prayuktosmi tatha karomi. I have no plan, I have no values, I have no ambitions, I have no goals because I'm afraid of all of them. Yeah. I have desires, but I pretend I don't, because they're not going to get fulfilled anyway. So therefore, what are you going to do? Nothing. And then such a person, it's Vedanta for such a person is a travesty, I tell you. Because a person sits in class, you are akarta, woohoo, I knew that. You are not the doer, yeah, right. It's almost like a permission to fall out of life, drop out. Yeah, swayam, dropati, anyan dropayati, causative. Ridiculous. And so therefore, that is why this is an elixir. Because the problem here is not, that one doesn't have devotion. The problem is one doesn't understand the meaning of devotion. The problem is one of alienation and disconnection from oneself, from Bhagavan, the source of the universe, and from others around oneself. And this is not just an epidemic, it's a pandemic. What is a pandemic? Worldwide. As big as the universe is, they are trying to measure the universe now. And they have found some ways to measure it. And as big as this universe is, as big as this pandemic, reigns. The pandemic is called disconnection from oneself. And nothing is going to repair it. Even if Bhagavan were to drop down on a parachute or through his own Maya, if Bhagavan and Bhagavati were to drop down and say, what do you want? The person goes, I wanted you to be wearing blue, but you're wearing green. Whenever I had a little bhakti attack, I always imagined Bhagavan in green. And you come wearing blue. I hate blue. I can't stand blue. But Krishna says, I can't help it, I am. Yeah. You have to deal with me. Sorry, I can't be green. I am blue. So this is what it is. One's own raga. Even if Bhagavan were to come and say, what do you want? One is unable to relate because one is disconnected from oneself. And that disconnection is what has to be remedied in order to come out of this. And this is a rampant pandemic all over the world. And in the West, it is especially heightened in certain ways. Because one does not grow up with Karma Yoga. In India, one grows up automatically with Karma Yoga. There is something there about it, even if one has never heard the term Karma Yoga, etc., nothing. One grows up with it, one keeps doing things in a way that, simply because things need to be done, not because I'm going to get a reward for waking up in the morning. Not because I'm going to get something out of it. Not because something is going to happen. Not because I'm going to get some magic. Not because of anything. Except for the fact that this needs to be done. I seem to be the only person. Not even that I'm the right person to do it. There is no right person. I seem to be the only person here holding this, And like that man in China, he was just going to work. He was ready to catch a bus. The bus stop was 2-3 blocks from his own house, and he had his lunch box and he had his briefcase, and he was just a man catching the bus going to work. And then he was in a particularly good mood, and he just saw the weather was nice, and he just looked up to see, how nice the day is, I'm having a happy time. And he saw what seemed to be a small child falling out of the sky. Literally. A 2-year-old or whatever, and he couldn't believe it. He did a double take. Indeed, it was a child. Indeed, it appeared to be falling out of the sky. What else is there to do? He cannot say, I'm missing my bus. I've never caught anything. I'm very bad at sports. In fact, I always used to pretend I had a stomachache during the sports period in class, in school. So therefore, I'm just going to call 9. There is no time to call 911. There's no time to even talk to, touch the other person on the shoulder and say, can you catch this thing falling out of the sky? He had to put everything down and run, and he finally caught this, baby, 2-year-old, that had just, broken through the balcony. In 1 second it happened on the 3rd floor or 4th floor of a flat. And the harried mother and father came down. 1 minute, 1 second it happened. It was just playing, and then there was one rung that was loose. So what are you going to do? This is what it was. He just happened. It's so interesting. He just happened to look at the sky, thinking, what a lovely day. Here he is going, he's not thinking, I think I need to prepare to catch a baby today. No. Let's see, catch a baby 101. What should I do? How should I position myself? Let's see the physics and the mechanics of it. Let's imagine that the baby is 25 pounds or 30 pounds and a 30-pound child falling at the velocity of this, divided by the gravitational force will mean that it will come at this particular speed, and then volume and mass and all these things. This is not a time for a physics lesson. This is the time to act, correct? Because you are the only person, and that's what makes you qualified. That's what makes you qualified. You are the only person. Not because you are, one among many and everybody wants to be the chosen one. If I'm chosen, then I'll do something about it. This is not a high school prom. Get over it. Ridiculous. You're the only person. And then, of course, one says, why me? Yeah. Yeah. Why me? Why not you? You're the only person. And you cannot say, well, I am an akarta. If the baby is to be saved, Bhagavan, you only said Bhagavan is in charge of everything. If the baby needs to be saved, let it be saved anyhow. Why I should come in the middle? And stupid parents, why they were not watching? They need a class in parenting. Why have babies? Such people shouldn't have children. This is not the time for moralistic, debates. This is not the time for any kind of, refraining from action. If the person were to be a bystander at this time, is that not culpability? If supposing the child falls and dies or is very badly injured, doesn't make it or makes it and is brain damaged for life, is that person culpable or not? Then this is what it is. So like that falling child, he couldn't see anything because of the trees. He didn't even surmise that, this child must be falling from the 4th floor. There was no time to do anything except to position himself badly to be able to catch it. That's all. And of course the weight of catching the child, he himself fell. But thankfully his body cushioned the body of the child. And the child just got up and, and walked away without even thanking him. Thankless job. And here he had a broken elbow,
Oh my God.
But so rewarding. That itself is the reward. It doesn't have to be some kind of a, like this example of this heroics where you saved the life of a child. That doesn't have to be so drastic. This itself is the reward. What you do, doing what you do nicely, properly and well in each minute is the reward. And what makes the job feel like a reward as opposed to some, every day I have to get up, every other day I have to brush teeth, why me, What's the difference? It's that bhakti. Bhakti towards what needs to be done. Because I did not come here planned, correct? Did you choose your parents? Everybody will say, of course not. Yeah. What do you think, I'm crazy? Of course I didn't choose these parents. Did you choose your sibling? Are you out of your mind? I didn't choose my siblings. Did you choose the place you were born? No. I didn't choose my parentage. I didn't choose my siblings. I didn't choose the country I was born in. Forget all that. I didn't even choose whether I'm going to be a cat or a human being. Or a catty human being. I didn't choose that. Catty or catatonic. You can take your pick. I didn't choose that. I just happened to be here. Without instructions. There are no instructions. Neither did the parents have instructions, nor did the child have some time, what is that? Time release instructions. Today you will do this, tomorrow you will do this, day after tomorrow you will do this. Yes, few indications are there through what is called the horoscope. And then when you look at the horoscope, you say, okay, right now, Ketu predominant, Rahu predominant. And then what, Time to be even more prayerful. That's where prayerfulness comes from, because I don't control anything. I did not choose anything. The only thing I have is my free will. And that free will has to be harnessed to the horse power of bhakti. That's what it is. Because there's no other option. Not only do I not call the shots, I'm extremely helpless at gauging what to do, when to do, how to do, where to do. And I'm very poor at losing, extremely poor at losing. I become a liability to others whenever I lose. And so therefore, I have to, because I have all these problems, emotional problems, mental problems, physical problems, all these sense of limitations that bug me. Yet I want to be infinite, I want to be total, I want to be whole, I want to be free. And that contradiction is bridged through the line of bhakti. That's what it is. So bhakti in the Narada Sutra, Narada was one of the first people to define bhakti. There are Narada Bhakti Sutras. Of course, they violate the very definition of sutra, because sutra is supposed to be short. And the Narada Bhakti Sutras are just, they keep going and going and going. But the second sutra, the Narada Bhakti Sutra, very beautiful text, sometime you have to study that, defines bhakti. Sa paraprema swarupa bhakti. Sa, bhakti being feminine, she, what is this bhakti? She is of the form, she is in the form of utmost and the form of the highest love. That's what bhakti is. Because otherwise you keep talking of bhakti, people get put off. That's why they say, I'm not the temple going type, I'm not the praying type. Then what are you? Preying, the praying type. Preying upon the nerves of another. So, I am, as soon as you change the word bhakti and replace it with love, everyone relaxes. Oh, that's what you've been talking about. Now we are talking. Now I think we can sit up and have a conversation. Why didn't you tell me before? Because that is basically what bhakti is. Bhakti means love. The highest form of love. And the sage Narada qualifies the word prema swarupa. Prema swarupa means of the nature of love with para, the highest form, the ultimate form of love. Because usually the kind of love that we are familiar with is what? What is the kind of love? Love for objects. Correct? And that's why love is so elusive. Love for objects, including other people. Because you cannot love another person without objectifying their body-mind complex. So as soon as you say that I love such and such, there is some level of objectification, in fact a great amount of objectification involved. So therefore what? So sa paraprema swarupa. So sage Narada puts an end to this ambiguity by saying that bhakti, she is of the form of the utmost, most ultimate form of love that you can have. So the love of the object is finite because of many reasons. Because the first reason is it is impossible to be, for one to have love for the same object all the time. It is impossible. Even in the most devoted marriage, there are times where you feel, when is this fellow going to go out? I need some time to myself. Yeah. Somebody got one t-shirt printed and showed it to me. After her husband retired. Her husband was going to work, then he retired. And she and her few friends, they were all the husbands were working for the same company and they more or less retired in that 1 year time. And all these ladies got the t-shirt printed. On the front it read, retirement is ... And then on the back it said, half the money and twice the husband. Meaning the fellow is not going out. Yeah. Doesn't mean she doesn't love him. She loves him very much, but go do something. Don't just hang around and follow me from room to room because, she's the queen of the house. She's used to having space. She's used to having all these things. And that's why Indian ladies dread the day the husband comes and tries to help in the kitchen. Because the kitchen is this sacrosanct temple where she reigns. And he comes and he tries to be a modern husband and tries to help. Shoo, go away. What are you doing over here? And so like this, every object, no matter how devoted you may be to the object, you need to take space. That means what? This love is finite when it is directed towards the object. Because of why? Why is this finite? Because of my own temperament. My own temperament is such that my mind keeps on undergoing various vrittis. Vritti change takes place. Faster than one can change clothes, the vrittis are changing. Now sukha vritti, happy vritti, And then anyone is okay, you know. Even the brother-in-law is okay, and even all the in-laws, outlaws, everyone come along, no problem. Then Sukha Vritti, without any, warning, gives over to what? Ghora Vritti. Ghora means what? Terrifying, restless, rajasic. And then, one feels completely strangulated, upset, fearful. And then what? And then tamasic vritti takes over, dull. You feel like fighting with everything you meet. All these things. So therefore, because of one's own temperament, what you call worldly love, even though I don't like to use that word, worldly love means what? Love for the object is not tenable and does not give me sukha, is not able to, it leaves me frustrated, because what I do with that love is try to unite myself with the object of the longing, and the object of longing is basically dependent upon the subject's temperament. So because of the subject's temperament, the object changes from being an object of longing to an object of hate. That's why first one gets married, till death do us part. And then next question, when do you depart? That's what it is. Because that person was the same. Before also he was slobby, now also he is a big slob. What changed is my tolerance. And that tolerance has transformed, therefore I cannot tolerate this. That is what has changed. You cannot blame that poor fellow. That's how he was, that's how he is going to continue to be for the next 7 janmas. So no problem. So that's the first reason that the so-called apara prema swarupa is not called bhakti, and the apara prema swarupa, that which is not the ultimate and the highest form of love, and we're going to see what that is soon. First let us dismiss this. That cannot give me happiness or satisfaction of any kind. And why is that? And that is because of this limitation of my own mental temperament. I am a prey of the changes in the mental temperament. That is why I am left longing. And as long as there is a sense of longing, there is no sense of belonging. Please understand. And then the second reason why the apara prema swarupa, the form of the love of objects that we know, doesn't leave one satisfied, because the objects themselves are finite. So relating to a finite object, I'm never satisfied. I'm always dissatisfied. Things come to an end. Like the 5-year-old I saw crying in the ice cream. Why are you crying? Don't you love the ice cream? Yes, it's my favorite. It's my favorite one. Then why are you crying? Half of it is over. That is the second reason why the love that I feel for objects fails to satisfy me, where I fail to find contentment. And there is one more reason. The third reason is because of first is because of the mental temperament. The third reason is because of the physical situation, the physical temperament. Like somebody is having having a big party. There is a 10-course meal. And then you go there after having a full, food yourself. You are fed to the teeth. And you go there not knowing that there was this big spread. And then what happens? And then they say, please have. And it's all your favorite food. No thanks, I just ate. I don't even want to look at the food. Correct? So then, because of all these reasons, the changes in the temperament, the changes in the object itself, and the wrong timing. This is the wrong timing. Yes, I like this particular thing you're offering me, but this is not the time. So Desha, Kala and temperament, all these things make me a person who is forever longing to find a sense of belonging in this loveless world. This is the life story of each and every person. That's why people frequently fall in love, fall being underscored. Yeah. People fall, that's all. Yeah. Yeah. And the rest of the time you go to ER. What is ER? Vedanta class. The guru puts a little tourniquet and the guru patches and puts a little band-aid and the person goes away happy. Comes back only after the next fall. Oh, you mean every autumn? No, a different kind of fall. At least with the trees, you can be sure when they are going to fall. With the human being, you cannot be sure when the fall is going to take place. No timing at all. And then the Vedanta class, group licking wounds. Okay, wonderful. Oh, very nice. You also fell. I've also fallen. Yeah. Pahimam, Trahimam, And that's why a little bit of Vedanta, and in these fallen times, where I have befallen certain falls, sounds good. You are the whole Satchidananda, you don't need anything to complete you, you don't need anyone, yes, that's right, I don't need anyone. Yes, that's correct. Yes, you are everything, you are without a second, wonderful. That's the salve, yeah. That's why it's called salve, because it salvages one from this fall. And then what? After the class, one is released back into this wild and fall again. Whether you one falls for a person or a situation or a thing that keeps repeating itself, a finite thing, doesn't matter. All this is apara prema swarupa. Apara means not para. Sanskrit 101. Negative particle a. Yes. Anyarthe nanj, other than para. Anything other than para is not para. Not para, not para, not para. So, one is caught in not para all the time. One is caught by the longing for the love that is not para. That is what? Apara. Apara means what? That is not of the highest form. That's of course very, very politely put. To tell it directly, of the lowest form of love. Lowest form means where one becomes a captive of, one becomes a prisoner of all things external to oneself. External conditions, external situations, external objects, external people, external mental conditions. The mind is also external to oneself because it's an object of being one can objectify it, one can observe it. So one becomes a captive, a helpless prisoner of everything over which I have no control. And so that longing has to be understood and owned up as the longing for the self. This is what, it's a very big jump. It's like crossing over the Grand Canyon. You tell the person who is, struggling to find acceptance with another person and seeking self-approval. You tell the person who's seeking approval from someone else, actually, what you want is self-approval. You try telling any young adult that. They're going to say, forget it. You're wrong. I want right now that person to look at me. Yeah. And you tell the person who's climbing the corporate ladder, no, what you're seeking is the love of yourself. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. You quote the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. That quote falls flat on its face. like that, English soldier during the Queen's birthday party, in the hot sun with that bumblebee cap on. Poor fellow fainted flat. You have to admire the Queen. She withstood the birthday celebration. And this one, 1/5 of her age, fell flat on the thing. Yeah, they don't make them like they used to. Really, both that husband and wife, no. Bhagavan is, not even, you see them, not even bent anywhere, standing right. That's why they are royals, yeah, that's what. So, you can't tell a person who is, pursuing all this, that really what you want is yourself. That argument is going to fall flat on its face. So therefore the bridge is to lure them to bhakti. Them means yourselves, okay? Yeah. I'm just sometimes to make things easier, I put it in the third person. Yeah. So the bhakti becomes a stand-in because the love for the self is not recognized, is the most ununderstood thing. Okay, ununderstood, fine. Misunderstood thing that ever was, is and will be. And so therefore, that everything that I'm falling for is a projection, and I'm actually, a narcissist in the highest sense of the word, that I'm actually in love with myself. That's what it is. What I'm falling for is not the object, I'm falling for the subject, and the subject doesn't need to be is not away from me. So there is really nothing to seek. That is what is the ultimate goal of this bhakti. So in other words, that's the ultimate goal of Vedanta. So bhakti and Vedanta are what? Means and ends. Oh, but I thought knowledge was the means. Yes, but the knowledge without bhakti is like sitting in a kayak without knowing how to swim. Yeah. So that is what happens. So you have to, some basic things are there. If you want to go in a kayak, you have to be able to swim. And so therefore, the knowledge, what fuels the knowledge is bhakti and shraddha. So the Vedanta book is resting on the pillars of bhakti and shraddha. That is what it is. Like we have these book holders which come like that. They are like that, intertwined, even better. And then the book is resting, right there. And so this is bhakti, this is shraddha. They dovetail and intertwine one another. And there is a placeholder for the knowledge to be held, assimilated, understood and enjoyed. Without bhakti and shraddha, kiss the knowledge goodbye. Tata, wave a hanky. Retain the hanky because then you'll need it to cry into. So Shraddha we talked about in the whole Guru Stuti and Shishya, the Shishya Nishchaya, how to determine oneself, how to recognize oneself as a student, all this. And now is the turn for bhakti. And bhakti is misunderstood. That is why it is called Prema Swarupa, so that I understand what it is. And that is the same reason why Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is translated on the level of, for the individual to understand as Sat Chit Ananda. That Ananda is the result of bhakti. In other words, that Ananda is nothing but Para Bhakti. So when explained this way, that it is really in the form of everything that you seek, and everything being only one thing, what you are seeking is your own tail. You are chasing your tail. And never catching it because the means, the sadhana and sadhya are not, connecting. The means and the ends, there is a very, very big discrepancy. And that discrepancy has to be understood. And that's why Karma Yoga, do what you need to do with the spirit of bhakti. with the spirit that I'm doing it for someone else, because that's when it gets done properly. If that's why it's very hard to cook just for oneself. And that's why no one goes to the movie, very rarely, by oneself. You also, you need someone at least to fight over the popcorn. Yeah. You need somebody there. And that's why, restaurant, you don't go by yourself. You need one more person, at least one more person. So therefore, that has to be properly understood. And because this is not understood, it is described as the most ultimate expression of love, and an expression of love directed at the ultimate, both. And what is that ultimate? Bhagavan, because this person cannot recognize that the truth of oneself is really Bhagavan. So it's a beautiful master stroke of the Shastra to externalize the self temporarily. Because this fellow cannot relate to anything internal, always external. Okay, you're so fond of the external. Here is something external. What? Your own self. And we'll just call it Bhagavan. Oh, but we are going to call it Bhagavan. Oh, already the eyes, become all misty-eyed and the hands come together. Yes, this is the source of the universe, this is the person, this is the entity, the conscious being, under whose laws you are there. You subsist under this entity's laws. Bhishasmadvatah pavate, bhishodeti suryah, bhishasmadagnischendrascha, mrityurdhavati panchama iti. Out of the fear of which laws all the elements and the elementals behave, including Indra, Agni, etc. And Lord Yama, who makes everyone run away from him, he runs in response to these laws. He also doesn't decide, you're next. No. These laws decide, and the laws are nothing. Really, this is ingenious. But your own karma phala, which is packaged and gift wrapped by Bhagavan. Bhagavan is just a gift wrapper. That's all. And so, in response to these laws, I have to live. This a person understands. After trying to fulfill a few desires, you know that they are not in your hands. So this is very easy to explain. So you have to live under these laws. You don't have a say. That's right. Yes, I can't help anything. But you can help yourself by praying to that which is the source of these laws. Because prayer itself is an action, it relates, and then it loosens the stranglehold of the laws, perhaps if your karma allows it. This also the person who is very pragmatic understands. So for every action there is a result, and for this action, the action of relating to the infinite, also there is a result. Oh, yippee! Otherwise who is going to relate? Nobody is going to relate. This is what we call bhakti, the expression of love directed at the ultimate. Is ultimate love. Paraprema Swarupa. Oh, I thought this is Bodhasara class, but it is Narada Bhakti Sutra class. So be it, okay? Paraprema Swarupa Sa. And he's going to, Narahari is very erudite. It's very clear he has studied all the Narada Bhakti Sutras, because without any warning, in the third or the fourth verse, he is going to change the word Bhakti to Preeti, which means Prema, which means love. Without any warning he does that. That's why I have to give this background and make that connection. So as soon as these things are explained to the to the jalopy which goes by the name Jiva, this jaded, faded fellow, more faded than the jeans the fellow is wearing, and as soon as you explain this, the person comes back to life. That's why it's an elixir. Why? Because you're not hopeless, you're not helpless, you're not in the spate of all these, you're not a chaser of finite things which you'll never get. No, but I really want the finite things. Yes, there is a way to get finite things. No, but I have, exhausted every option available except prayer. Oh yeah, that. Exactly. Except prayer, you have exhausted every option. That's why you are exhausted. We get that. But the final option is what? Prayer. No, but prayer, it doesn't sound right. Why should it be the final option? Because it's never the first option of anyone. You look and see. First they try to do everything themselves instead of seeking help. The seeking help comes only when there is total helplessness. And that is what is called the final option. Have you exercised the final option on behalf of yourself? All right, nothing works. Let me even try this. So the person prays. The person is not wholeheartedly, so maybe prays like 1/10 bhakti. Yeah, only 2 fingers are joining instead of all 10 of them. Okay. Kidrishosi Mahadeva, whoever form, whichever form, whoever you are you there, wherever you are, because locally unavailable. And yet you are raining all these bad things on me. Wherever you are, whoever you are, if you are listening, if you have ears, because we have manifestations of Bhagavan without ears. There is one, what is that? What is that Bhagavan called? You have to go there and make a loud noise in the temple. You have to clap, you have to beat the stone there and say, I have come, very loudly. Because this particular manifestation is deaf. Must have been a very hopeless devotee, the one who coined up this manifestation. But it works because everyone feels somewhere Bhagavan must be deaf because my prayers are not being heard. Chandikeshwara, yes. Chandikeshwara is a manifestation who is deaf. Stone deaf, like the stone he is made of. And then you just go there and go like this. Hello! How are you? Are you there? I have come, look. This is our frustration. So the first prayer is like that. Whoever you are, wherever you are you deaf? Bhagavan is not deaf. Shrotrasya Shrotram. Bhagavan is not deaf at all. He is the ear of the ear. He is what makes you hear. And so, but then why do you act deaf? That's because you don't know the meaning of no. You think I have not heard, but all I have said is no. Every prayer he has an answer. Sometimes the answer is no. That's all. You are deaf. I am not deaf. You are not listening. You are unable to hear anything other than what you want. This is what the whole thing is. And so, therefore, the first one is without any bhakti. The prayer is, whoever you are, wherever you are, you're causing a lot of problems. Looks like you're deaf. You're not listening to me at all. Give me what I want right now. And suddenly that thing comes, whatever the person wanted. And then what? Oh, you're not too bad. Okay, first one finger. This is a 2-finger namaste, namaha. Because the rest of the control is in my little paws, only here. Yeah. And then slowly this, slowly that, and then finally that. Right? So what am I trying to say? That it is a process. That discovering that helplessness, seeking help, and then is a process. And in the process, I learn to relate to this Bhagavan not with anger but through love. Anger is also okay because the anger has to come out. Where else will it come out? Except at the therapist's office. The only difference is there you have to pay. Temple free therapy. Yeah, free therapy. And no matter what you say, Bhagavan is smiling and going like this. Yeah, that's interesting. And this they call Abhaya Mudra. Abhaya Mudra means what? Fearlessness Mudra. Don't fear, I am here. But secretly I have always thought that this is the deflecting Mudra. Whatever you are accusing me of, back at you. Meaning this is your own projection. May you realize that this is your own projection. This has nothing to do with me. Tvameva. And the projections are of two kinds. Shobhana Adhyasa, you are the greatest, you are the infinite, you are the highest, best, love, love, love. Kiss, 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 Bhagavan, you are the best. Yes, just because you happen to be in a good mood today, I am not going to be flattered. And next day what? Next minute, the person goes back to the temple and says, you are an idiot, I have never seen a bigger idiot than you. Back at you. Your own perception. That's what gives Abhaya, to be able to own these perceptions. My own perceptions. It's nothing to do with that, and that's the highest. That's why Vedanta is super therapy, because it introduces bhakti and it introduces one to Bhagavan through the doorway, gateway called bhakti. And it's a catch-22. Without bhakti, there is no Vedanta. Without Vedanta, there is no bhakti. Where to start? Don't worry your head about that. You have already started. Kind of a catch-22. And sometimes many lifetimes go away as a result of this catch-22. Wasted. One life gone, second life gone. Which comes first, bhakti or Vedanta? So, therefore, Paraprema Swarupa. So first I see the milking nature of bhakti. Bhakti is an action directed towards the infinite who controls my life or many aspects of my life over which I don't have control. So it's an action directed against that or towards that which is the ultimate controller, Niyanta, in order to gain what I want. This is like a baby expression of bhakti, a very pragmatic baby expression. Exalted, no doubt, because it is para. Because instead of bothering someone else or bothering myself, I have recognized the helplessness. That's what makes this connection para, not apara. Because finally I am going to the right source, with my petitions or with my anger or with my angry petitions, all the same. And then what? So that's the first level. And then whatever comes I don't accept, I go away from Bhagavan. And then, where else will I go? Try going away from Bhagavan, you can't. Wherever you go is Bhagavan. The face of Bhagavan is everywhere. So you can't go away from Bhagavan, so then you come back again, shamefaced, again and again, repeatedly, from a place of acceptance. This is the second level. It's a growing process. And then finally what? It is all love, ultimately. Why? Because it's nothing else other than love. That Abhaya is working, It's deflected. That smiling face you can't help falling in love with. Wherever you go, the face smiles, whether the Lord is made of marble or stone or plastic, doesn't matter. It's a smiling face. And that smiling face makes one attracted to that, and that attraction is the attraction to the self. That's what it is. Paraprema Swarupa Sa Bhaktihi. First Narada Sutra, which we have to understand the third verse and beyond. We'll take a short 15-minute, prayerful break and then come back. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.